Hi, good to see you. Thank you so much for your time today. And as ever, welcome one and all brand new subscribers. Lovely to have your company. I'm glad, by the way, you enjoy the extra long videos, which we go into far more detail. And that's the plural we, of course, meaning I. As I said, the reason behind the longer videos is simply that you get a chance really to chat to people. And it's very difficult to sort of put that competitively in a little sort of video for 4 minutes or something. It's important really to get both sides of the stories out, and there's so much more to come, trust me. You know, when you think about it, you look at, say, Harry and Meghan, and you realise what a trail of destruction they've left behind. And seemingly, though, Harry doesn't have a clue, or does he? That's what we're going to unveil over more in the future. As ever, let me get back to your royal story of the day. No, sorry, we haven't had a wave, have we? Nice to see you. Sorry, I'm slacking as ever. I know, it's all right, you can tell me off, but do it politely. Well, as I said, politely, there's no need to get aggressive, you know. Now, as you know, we recently told you the story about the royal warrants and Cadbury's losing that royal warrant after over 100+ years. And everybody was sort of speculating, you know, about why, because now, of course, it's not a British-owned company. And I don't know about you, you could say this about everything, but I think they've changed the recipe. I used to, like everybody, like a chocolate bar, whether it, you know, be a crunchy or something like that. But it all tastes a bit strange. And every time I say that to younger people, I don't know if you get this, but they say, oh, it's because you're getting old, you know, your taste buds go. And you think, oh, marvellous. Would have to be your fault, wouldn't it, you know? They couldn't have changed the recipe to not make it as nice. I remember the slogan, do you remember? A glass and a half of milk in every bar. And it did taste milky and luxurious. Even for that price, it was a nice flavour. We all know chocolate's not exactly good for you, but it's good to have a treat from the, you know, sort of time and time again. Now, as you know, royal warrants were put together, which I mentioned the other day, by none other than the late Queen Victoria. And she was far cleverer than people actually put her down for, because you see, she started this idea of basically, you give me this. Well, she didn't really start it, it had gone way back to Henry VIII, but she really capitalised on it. And this was really down to the retail boom of, you know, big stores opening like Selfridges, like Harrods and stuff. And they sort of put forward things that the Queen might like to either sit on, eat, sleep in, wear. Everything was up for a royal warrant. And it was a really savvy move because, as you know, as Meghan Markle, dare I say, found out, if you're a member of the British monarchy, you're not really allowed to keep anything. You know, you can wear these things, but it's you can't have like the free dress worth thousands of pounds and all that sort of stuff. But this was sort of a way around it. And places like Twinings Tea did incredibly well because they refreshed the palate of the monarchy, including the Prince of Wales, Edward. And so they got a royal warrant. But what a lot of people don't realise, and this is what's lost in many of the archives, and this is what I love finding out and bringing to you here, our chums on the channel, is that the Queen actually was instrumental in more brands than you realise. Say, for instance, right, a major store who made furniture of that era. Well, what would happen is that, say, they would send over the chair and then she might just, deftly redesign it. Say, I don't know, make the legs a little bit taller, make them more chunky, make them more firm. She felt that it needed more sponge, say, in the seating, or the back need to be a bit higher or firmer. And that was the same with things like the tea. You know, what you're drinking today is really what she liked. You know, royal blend tea was down to a less this, a little bit more that. Then we might consider a royal warrant, you understand? The same with the jams. Some of the recipes that they put together for the original jams and stuff like that were actually concocted inside Buckingham Palace kitchens. And the Queen would, pop down, and this is on record, and sort of taste them and say, a bit less sugar, maybe a little bit more bilberry or something like that. So, of course, once they'd served it to her, and then they thought, right, okay, this then now could be sold with the full instruction of the royal warrant, and more importantly, it had passed the taste test of Queen Victoria and senior members of the British monarchy. That's how it came around. So a lot of the things that you're seeing today, whether it be, headboards or, ottomans and stuff like that, every single facet of British life was up for a royal warrant. It's hard to imagine it, isn't it? You know, when you think the bonnets, the ladies' dresses, the men's top hats, the silk scarves going to the theatre, everything was really sent over there. And if they liked it and they thought, yes, this was great, but Queen Victoria, or indeed the Prince of Wales, Edward, might slightly adjust this, then suddenly, of course, you've got it really by royal approval, but you've also got one of the best ears and eyes and designers in the world saying, yeah, this is quite comfortable. And apparently she didn't, when they were sending over the chairs, I find this fabulous fun, she sort of said, oh no, there's not enough spring on this. And they said, well, apparently, Mum, we've put as much as we can get in. Well, of course, as many people know, Queen Victoria was a girl of a fuller figure, right? And so obviously she wanted a little bit more sponge. And she forced them to make it a little bit more comfortable, because she said, look, ladies have these big dresses and we're fashionable. We need to have space to relax in certain chairs. And I don't know if you know this, but some of the famous club chairs, and when I say club chairs, things that are in gentlemen's clubs today, they were all redesigned by the Prince of Wales because he too was slightly portly, and he wanted to make sure that he could slide his rather cumbersome figure inside without breaking the armchairs, which apparently happened the first time around. So when you think about it today, as I say, and you think, this tea is delicious, or this jam, as I've told you from Fortnum's, is literally, oh, it's the best. It really is, unless of course you make your homemade jam, I know that. But really, it's so tasty. Well, that's all down to, well, some people might say, the interference and the meddling of the royals. But how lucky were we? Because obviously they knew what they liked and we liked it too, if of course we could afford it. Neil Sean, Kensington, London.